For many listeners, in-ear monitors are the holy grail of audio, hoping, wishing, and praying for something that will deliver a balanced, well-defined, full-frequency audiophile experience. Technics has been chasing that goal too with its true wireless EAH-AZ100 in-ears. For The Absolute Sound, I'm John Quain.
Just a brief interruption, esteemed viewers. If you enjoy our videos, you might also like our other work for audiophiles and music lovers: written equipment reviews, editor's choice ratings, product news, and music reviews. Get the latest each week with a free subscription to our email newsletters. A link is in the description.
The full name for what I call the AZ100s from Technics, their full name is Reference Class Hi-Fi True Wireless Earbuds with Dolby Atmos and noise canceling, the EAH-AZ100s. That's the full name for these earbuds, which I'm actually wearing and using to record this video. So if you want to get a sense of how the MEMS microphone works, just listen to the recording. They're priced at $299.99. $300 is a price point that has attracted a lot of listeners who are looking for better sound from in-ear monitors. As the name suggests, they have adaptive noise canceling. They have an ambient mode as well, so you can hear what's going on around you. Both are adjustable via the app, smartphone app for Apple and for Android users. You can change the amount of ambient sound you let in, for example, which is a good safety feature, especially if you're going to use these outside if you're running, cycling. There's traffic noise you've got to be aware of. They last for about 8 hours per charge if you're using the noise canceling feature, about 15 hours or so if you turn the noise canceling feature off. I found those ratings to be about accurate in my experience over several months of using these in-ears. And if you want, there's also, you charge them pretty quickly. There's a little supplied, of course, case. It supplies over 20 hours, well over 20 hours in my experience of additional charging. So you don't have to look for an outlet with these. The AZ100s adhere to the Bluetooth 5.3 specification. For those of you wanting to know those details, they support the LDAC codec, which is originally designed by Sony, and it supplies the highest bit stream you're likely to get over a Bluetooth connection. That's 96 kilohertz at 990 kilobits per second. That's going to be better than what Qualcomm specs are on the aptX spec, which is a lower bit rate. It's more concerned about speed and latency. So if you're looking for the highest audio quality in Bluetooth, that's pretty much your best choice. The AZ100s use 10 millimeter magnetic fluid drivers with a rate of frequency response of 20 hertz to 40 kilohertz. The design, according to Technics, is intended to reduce the amount of vibration, excessive vibration in the diaphragm. So the fluid goes around the voice coil, keeps it tighter, more precise sound. That's at least our experience. They're definitely well disciplined. I also found them, oddly enough, require a little bit more volume than other kinds of true wireless earbuds or headphones, which suggests they're not quite as sensitive as some other models. However, using mobile devices, portable phones, laptops, televisions, everything that I tested them on, I got plenty of volume out of these earbuds, so you don't need to worry there. They also have these touch controls on the side, very handy for skipping tracks, adjusting the volume, or Bluetooth pairing. And since everybody asks about Bluetooth pairing, you have to touch both of them for 5 seconds until you say, hear the pairing mode voice, and then you're doing what you need to do. There's an app, of course, and you can change the function of all the buttons if you want to and adjust the EQ according to a handful of presets, as well as make your own custom adjustments. Visually, they look very similar to the previous AZ80s, the 80s models, and they are lighter though, and more comfortable in my opinion. It's hard to say, but they are, it's an individual thing. Ears are like fingerprints. Yours are going to be different. So keep that in mind. But at least for my experience, these were definitely more capable and comfortable and stayed in my ears longer. How about sound quality? That's what we're here for, after all. I'll start with an interesting note about these in-ears. And I found with other in-ear earbuds as well. When noise canceling is switched on, or even ambient sound mode is switched on, you get a fuller, richer sound. When you turn everything off with these, it actually attenuates the sound a little bit. So I preferred to leave noise canceling on. I turned down the adjustability of the noise canceling feature to get sort of the flattest, more balanced sound that I possibly could get out of these earbuds. So let me preface this with that qualification. Now about some recordings and some musical examples. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue recording, something that came up because of an anniversary and some remasters, some new reviews of it. The track So What is a great way to bring out details in that recording, such as the breathing and Bill Evans' Just So piano contributions. There's a lot of detail and depth to these in-ears that they can bring out in a track like that. And then when Coltrane pops into your left ear, well, it's still chilling. For summer songs, I don't know, got a little crazy with the summer songs. Jack Johnson and his hit Upside Down from 2006. It has this sort of wonderfully concise separation of instruments and a very, very clean mix that's kind of a paragon of engineering simplicity. So you can pick out each acoustic guitar rhythm and lead and each bongo instrumentation. The AZ100s put them just exactly where they should be in the soundstage, and the voicing and detail makes the sound more open and more space between the instruments and vocals compared to other in-ears, many of which I found. So they focus on the mid-range and they often squash the soundstage. Not with the Technics design. It's definitely more open soundstage and intentional. I'll give you another example. Philip Glass recording by pianist Vanessa Wagner. And she does these etudes of Philip Glass, a new recording, which I found very enthralling. It's more open in the harmonics with the AZ100s, get more of that grand piano feel, and it does a better job delivering the dynamic range of her performance. So how do these little guys hold up when you want to hear some heavy-duty rock and roll? Well, they hold up pretty well. I checked out a lot of tracks in the rock category and then went to some of my favorite, shall we say, avant-garde tracks. I'm thinking of Brian Eno's record, Here Come the Warm Jets. And you're probably thinking about the same lines. Babies on Fire is a track with Robert Fripp's guitar solo, perhaps one of the quintessential guitar solos of the era, influenced many, many guitarists to come. Hello, Eddie Van Halen. It's got this choppiness to it, this brashness to it, these ragged edges to it, and then these sublime notes to it as well. All of that was rendered with precise detail by the AZ100s. Even the rough edges, you don't want it to be too precise. You want the rough edges still there. They're still rendered quite well. So great transient response out of these earbuds. Also, went a little the jazz and jazz rock era. Alan Holdsworth, I thought I really wanted to listen to some of his work on the guitar. Went back to a Soft Machine record known as Bundles. If you're a Soft Machine fan, you're going to say that's not a real Soft Machine album. Everything went downhill after the third record. Grant you that. But Bundles is a great example if you're trying to listen to a lot of compressed instrumentation together, sort of a prog rock jazz mixture. I found like I wasn't missing anything with these earbuds. They did an excellent job rendering everything that record had to offer. That all said, if you're trying to reproduce something like John Bonham's drums in the When the Levee Breaks, which was famously recorded in a stairwell, you're not going to get that from any earbuds. You're just not going to be able to match and move the volume of air you need to move to get that right back to where it should be. So you got to keep your expectations realistic with any earbuds. As someone once said, but wait, there's more. Remember the Dolby Atmos that's in the name of the AZ100s? Yes, you can listen to surround sound in these little earbuds. So I'll give you an example. You can connect them to your TV using the Bluetooth connection and pair it with the set. Again, touch both earbuds and you can pair them up to your television. Widow's Bay, a recent, at this time, on Apple TV, sports Dolby Atmos through that series, spooky series. That's the updated surround sound mode, in case you're not familiar with Dolby Atmos. It's meant to be completely surrounding, not just front and sides, but back as well as above your head on Dolby Atmos if you've been in a cinema or movie theater. These little earbuds, they actually did a nice job placing different elements in the soundstage, a very expanded soundstage, such as a character putting down a wine bottle on one side and a wine glass on the other, or a honking horn that's supposed to be off-screen outside. Crickets chirping in the background, rain falling in the forest are all typical of Dolby Atmos effects. Now, no degree of algorithmic tricks is going to put all those sonic elements like that off-screen door slamming right behind your head. You need a full physical 7.1 surround sound system to do something like that. But these do an excellent job of taking like Foley booth effects and footsteps on a hardwood floor, farther left and right, and the roundabout effect, for example. And it eliminates that Gen Z, not picking on a generation, we all do it, which is putting on the subtitles on the movie, because the dialogue is just perfectly clear with these and properly balanced against the sound effects and background music. Also, a little advantage I wanted to mention about these in-ears and using them in this way is Dolby Atmos, basically speakers. They produce a more immersive sound experience than many sound bars I've tested. That's partly due to the natural intimacy of in-ear monitors, but it's also due to the frequency range of the AZ100s and its detail, their ability to reproduce background dialogue that is virtually inaudible on most sound bars, I just have to say. So that's another option. You're thinking about these different use cases, consider that one. Overall, with the AZ100s, Technics has created a pair of true wireless earbuds that rival many of the other best models in the market, especially at this price range of $300. These are well-behaved, concise earbuds with solid separation and detailed instrumentation, and I found them comfortable as well. Hopefully you will too. Moreover, their size and their quality will probably make you want to toss these in your briefcase next time rather than a big set of over-the-ear cans. If you enjoyed this review and found it helpful at all, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the Absolute Sound video channel. We also like print the magazine, The Absolute Sound. Consider subscribing as well. Thanks for watching. For The Absolute Sound, I'm John Quain.